Everyday heroes, extraordinary vision, stories and inspiration from our world to yours. This is Unlocking Secrets for Women Radio. Dee Wallace from beautiful Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, and it is too right now.
I bet you've never seen it more beautiful.
It's a tiny bit on the cold side for us wussy Californians out here, but the sun's out and the skies are blue, and I'm counting my blessings, baby.
Yeah, and I bet the smog is decreased significantly with all that traffic.
Well, actually, we've done a really good job in cleaning the smog up in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Really good job. So I think the biggest smog permeating everywhere right now is fear.
Yeah. No
smog of fear.
And you are the woman known for fear. So, well, hopefully you can scare the fear out of us with love. So, Dee, we've known each other now over 12 years. It's been.
I was trying to remember exactly when we met, and the only thing that comes to me is that meeting over in Malibu or Beverly Hills, and all the girls got together. It was right when I just launched Buffalopaloo.
Yes.
Is that right?
It was actually on the set of Unscripted, the TV show.
Oh.
Right. At the montage, yeah. And then the reason why you remember the other is because you hosted lunch at your house so that we could all get together, which was amazing. And then we've had lots of little, do this annual sort of meeting thing every year or every 2 years. I try to, which is what we were going to do, but
I know
life had a different direction.
Forward to it, but we'll do it.
We will, because it's just
life hasn't stopped. It's just gone on pause a little bit.
Exactly.
Actually, I think that's a big gift of the virus.
Yeah.
That at the rate we were going, nature was pretty unsustainable as far as growing consciously.
I so agree.
We were going. It's great for the technology and everything, but the consciousness needs to catch up now.
I totally agree. In fact, that's what I sensed when I started praying as soon as all this stuff happened, and I just saw this gigantic stop sign. And as much as I really hurt, as you do, for people that have been physically impacted, they've lost loved ones, they're suffering, the frontline workers, and I hate that that's happened.
Okay.
But the outcome, tell me about it.
Take on that.
Tell me about it.
Well, according to my channel, the biggest sin we can do against energy is to worry.
Mm-hmm.
Because that puts all our focus and attention on what we don't want. Mm-hmm. And actually helps create the fear. So as you so aptly said in the beginning, let's replace the smog of fear with love, because you cannot hold both places at the same time. It's not possible. Mm-hmm. We know that love creates everything and heals everything. So I spend my days sending love to the virus, sending love to all the people who are well, sending love to all the people who are going through the challenge now of wellness and health, but always demanding of myself that I focus on health and wellness and love, because that then is what can rise up.
That's beautiful. That is so true. Dee, you are a leader. You have a show that you air nationally and
internationally.
Oh yes, tell me about that. Tell me about it.
Well, yeah, it's international. I have clients all over the world, Australia, everywhere in Europe, Canada. It's a free call-in show every Sunday morning. I'm a clairaudient channel, so people call in to talk to the channel, get answers about sex and money and rock and roll and whatever you want to get messages about. I I fought it for a long time, you know, Candace. I went, look, I'm this little girl from Kansas. What the hell do I know about channeling? But for some reason, and I think it's probably because I am the girl next door and I can talk the way we all talk, and I like to have my wine at night, and sex is great, and I kind of bring it all down to earth, you know. I think people need that.
They
So
do. They do need honesty and authenticity, especially from someone like yourself who, you know, we tend to idolize people and put them into these unrealistic places. And here you are, this face, this recognizable face and your talent, you're taking the real you and the realness of who you are, and you're offering that piece to other people. Tell me about Kansas growing up and then how you morphed into this place you are now.
you got a couple hours. Well, in a nutshell, I come from a very poor family, but a very talented family in Kansas. My mother was a secretary, but she was also in community theater, also produced and directed all the religious plays at our church.
Wow.
I started out as baby Jesus and ended up as the Virgin Mary before I left to claim my own fame and fortune. So I'm an actress because I watched how my mommy moved people with her performances, and that's really why I'm here today. My father did all the scenery. My grandma made all the costumes.
Wow.
My grandmother was also a beautiful visual artist. She painted. So I really grew up with a lot of creative influence in my life. My dad was a salesman until his alcoholism took him over, and he didn't work a large part of his life and ended up committing suicide when I was a senior in high school.
So hard.
So I have a real yin and yang, you know, going on. So many blessings from my family and so many challenges and limiting messages from my childhood that I've worked very diligently to replace, which is one of the things I teach people how to do, is how to consciously create their lives through choice, taking responsibility. You know, thoughts aren't just something that happens. Thoughts are something we can pick and choose. Feelings the same way, perspectives and judgments, all that stuff, those are all choices. But as long as we keep telling our story, like, oh, I came from a story, and my dad was an alcoholic and he killed himself, and that's the reason I'm so screwed up. Well, the reason I'm so screwed up is I'm still choosing to be screwed up from all those stories that I keep telling. I love Dana Wilde. She says, you know, there's nothing wrong with your story except you keep telling it. And if you're going to write a new story for yourself, you got to quit blaming all the people in the old story. The story needs to be updated for the modern day, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I got my teaching degree, taught a year of high school, and went, if I'm ever going to get out of here and go live this dream of mine, I better go do it now. So I moved to New York, never been out of Kansas in my life, moved to New York, and the rest is kind of history. I'm a big believer in naivete.
It's perfect.
I am, because when you approach something in naivete, it's the trust of a child.
Beautiful.
And you don't set up the what ifs, you know. It's like, I often say when I speak, it's like, okay, I'm Dee Wallace, and I'm going to go to New York and I'm going to be an actress. It never occurred to me that I couldn't do that.
That's beautiful.
So here I am. I mean, I think it was around 7 years by the time I left for New York and started E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Wow. Wow.
Unheard of in my business. Yeah.
Yeah. But that, I love what you're saying about the innocence, because it is, why do we have to put all these attachments to it?
Yep. Be
So
as a
that's
little child to enter the kingdom of heaven.
absolutely.
And if we want to put that in new age talk, it's, be naive, trust all your possibilities, look at the world through hope, and I'm going to get that dollar, that truck for Christmas. I just know I am, in order to create the life you want, right?
Yeah, exactly. So tell me, because my focus is generally women, although, our brand also provides resources for women so they can be of benefit to their families. So let's take, for instance, someone that's stuck in a belief cycle that's perpetuating. And let's say, for instance, they've told them, maybe it's a loss or a divorce or an unhappiness somehow, and they're stuck in that cycle and they can't move forward for some reason. They're still hating the ex, they're still perpetrating that. How would you be able to give them some tools? What would be your first conversation with someone who said, I just hate my ex, or I just can't do this, or what would you start them with in order to?
I would start by telling them that they're taking themselves down by holding on to all that. You don't forgive for another person. You forgive for yourself so that your energy is free.
Wow.
If we don't forgive and we hold on to judgments and we hold on to blame for other people, that keeps our brain focused onto the negative and what we don't want. It affects our health. It will hold money away from you.
Wow.
So you want to reparent yourself from all the limiting things that we've learned through religion, through society, through watching our parents who were never taught the truth teach us the non-truth, right? So we've got to sit back, and the simplest way I can explain it to people is, if you're not getting what you want, I guarantee you there's a belief behind it.
100%.
Because, again, back to the good book, which I know you are so into and a professor of, if you may.
You're so sweet.
As you believe, it is delivered to you. It's really kind of like the movie The Matrix. Pick a door, any door, you can have that experience. But if you keep thinking and believing that stuff just happens and life just happens and I don't have any control over it, then you will succumb to all the fearful limiting beliefs that people give you, because you do not know that you have control over your own thoughts and feelings, which are literally electrical signals that you are sending out to the universe, that the universe must answer. So if we think of ourselves as the old-fashioned radios where we had to tune in, right? And then you lined the little knob up with the line, and you could receive the station you wanted. You could get the song you wanted. Well, you are the radio. So you've got to tune yourself in to the station you want. And then the universe can give you the song of your life.
Wow. And letting go of those limiting beliefs by challenging, I don't know if you agree with this, and I'm open for you to give me a...
Oh, I will.
What I love about you, I always think that when I'm stuck in a situation, I agree with you. There's a belief behind it. So I will go like, okay, what am I believing? And I will have a fixation or a story that hit me in a moment in an incident where I was either hurt or wounded. And I'm stuck to that story and I've never stepped away from it and asked myself, is that true? And is that the whole perspective? Or is this just my moment and I'm holding on to it? Can you address that? Is that
Well, that's conscious living. That's mindfulness. And when you live in that place, you get to mine yourself. You get to find the gold in yourself, or the coal that could be the diamond, right? I have a great TED Talk on YouTube about how our little children and all the limiting beliefs that we grew up with are running our adult self. If you keep saying, you know, I keep trying to do this and I hit a wall. I keep trying to do that and I hit a wall. I guarantee you, most of the time, it's your little child or your teenager going, oh my God, don't be that powerful. Don't be in your knowing. Don't go try that, because you know what happens when you do, right? So I freely talk about a lot of my male-female relationships in my life, because what I watched growing up was a very good man who was kind and loving, but couldn't hold down a job, couldn't support his family, was drunk every night, not responsible, if you want an umbrella. So what happens then in my little girl, I look at the world and I go, okay, there's mommy and daddy. They're my first gods.
Right.
And my daddy God is like this, and my mommy God is taking care of everything and supporting the family and going to work, you know, and working 10 hours a day and coming home. And that's the way the world works. And that's the way our little children within us put the world together. And then we build on that the rest of our lives.
As if it's true.
As if it's true, because, and then we get to 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and we go, well, it is true. Look at all the proof I have in my life. But the belief came first.
Right.
And we built on that belief.
That's very powerful.
It's
and
freedom. It's
totally
freedom when you are conscious enough to live that way.
That's really powerful, Dee. And, you know, as a mama and an influencer and an actress, those pieces are super important. I'm a grandmother and I'm a mom, and I have beautiful, what I call daughter-in-loves, not necessarily daughter-in-laws, but daughter-in-loves.
I love it.
And I've had to step away from my belief system, open my heart and my understanding, and ask of me,
yeah,
what are your limiting beliefs, Candace, in this situation, in that situation? And then try with all my heart, as you as a mother too, I imagine, to try to say, hey, I know that this is a belief you have, but are you willing to perhaps consider something different? Like, you know, a different perspective. And that's what I think I hear you saying, is opening up your heart to be willing to maybe let go of that limiting belief. But some people, like, you know, Dee, you hold your two hands, right? And someone's limiting belief is on this side, and they're holding on to it so tight. It's their security. It's how they've explained everything.
You bet.
And then sometimes maybe you say to them, hey, how about if I, you know, you and I will just hold this hand on your belief, no problem. But can I, you know, sort of take your other hand? And you don't have to let go of that one, but would you be willing to consider something different?
Sure. And then if they don't, you can't change them.
No. And how do you suggest people love people that really are stuck and unwilling? So if you're in a relationship with someone and you're close to them, and for the most part you have a good relationship, but they are that limiting individual, what advice do you have for people that are sort of in that? How can they stay empowered in themselves, still hold value?
Candace, it's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
My younger brother, like my dad, severe alcoholic. I brought him out here. I paid for him to go through rehab. And 4 weeks later, he was drinking again.
Aww.
And I had a choice then. I could judge him. I could be pissed off at him. I could make him feel guilty. What's the point?
Right.
So the choice I made was, you know what? I'm going to spend the rest of my time with him accepting him and loving him the way he is.
Aw,
Because that's a gift that I can give both of us.
right,
You cannot create for another person.
right.
You can support them, you can guide them, you can inform them. And then that's why we're here, to learn to take responsibility for our own creation. And in the I Am discourses, it gives a wonderful statement that I use often that I want to share with all of you. I release you to your own divine I Am presence. In
Oh,
other words, I release you to your own creation. I trust you and love you enough to know that your soul is here knowing what it wants to learn. And
mhm.
I will love you unconditionally while you experience that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Dee. And I certainly
Well,
need that. We need that right now more than ever.
oh, and everything I teach, Candace, as you know, is based on self-love. And none of us are taught to love ourselves.
No.
We are taught to give ourselves up, to give up what we want for everybody else, to enable that, in especially when you're a mom and a grandma, if I enable you, that proves I love you even more. Well, it doesn't. It takes their self-responsibility of their own creation away from them.
Mm.
I
That's very good.
I say often the best thing I ever did for Gabrielle. I mean, you know, she went through, my daughter went
Yes.
through this horrible divorce.
Mm.
Thank you for posting about her book, by the way.
I loved her book. I loved it. It's amazing.
And it's helping so many people. But after the divorce, she came back in. She lived with me for a while till she got on her feet. And then I said, Gabrielle, it's time. You have to leave.
That's
You have
hard.
to get out on your own. Oh, it was the hardest thing I think I've ever done.
Yeah.
And the best thing I could do for her empowerment. So I helped her move out. I helped her the first 3 months get on her feet. But she would have never, well, who knows if she would have ever, but it would have taken her a lot longer to really embrace her power and the excitement of who she was if I kept doing it for her.
Because you were sending a message that perhaps you're not strong enough. You can't do this. Whereas you're saying, I release you because you are.
Exactly. I've got a great exercise to give everybody. Could I?
Please, yes.
This is the most powerful exercise that was ever given to me. The channel led me to these two brilliant doctors from Harvard and UCLA that are experts in the mind-body connection.
Okay.
This was given to me for health.
Okay.
But health, as you know, is mental, physical, spiritual, chemical, cosmic, emotional, and dimensional. So you can use it for anything. You can use it for money. You would use I am money. The mantra I'm using right now is I am health and wellness and money, because that's what we all want to know that we're the creators of. So I teach everybody to find a love place. A love place is the minute you think of that, your heart opens and you smile. For me, it's my crazy doggy. Oh my God, I love my dog so much. And it can be a place in nature. It can be a little baby, anything that represents unconditional love. So you go to your love place, that opens your heart. And then you take a deep breath into the count of 3 or 4. And as you exhale with a smile on your face, you say whatever mantra it is that you want to direct your brain and energy to know. So deep breath into the count of 3 or 4. Smile on my face. I am health and wellness and money. Take another deep, and you do that for 10 minutes, no longer than 20 minutes a day. And we certainly have time to do that right now.
You sure do.
And I'm telling you, it turned my whole financial life around.
Wow.
It was crazy. Because
It's that
the channel said to me, we want you to do that exercise with money, because when you know that you are the frequency of money, you will know that you are the frequency of everything. So I want to encourage everybody not to look at the stuff you want out there. It's all here. It all starts here. If you ignite the frequency of what you want within you and match it with love, then it will find you.
beautiful.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Beautiful.
How it works. It's just brilliant. But of course, you have to work it in order to see that it works.
And you know, what's so beautiful about that is, like you say, right now, we have a lot of time, all of us, and we can use that time for our best interests and well-being, as taking this opportunity to self-reflect and learn exercises like that, where we begin to come together with ourselves inside instead of fighting and being in opposition internally, but actually bringing ourselves together cohesively and learning how to love and looking for opportunities to offer the gift to ourselves and then expand out to others, which is what you do. Dee, tell me, go ahead, hon.
The more you love yourself, the more love you have for everybody else.
It's so
Put your own mask on first.
Yeah, no kidding. But that's such a good, oh, wow, that's funny. That's really appropriate. Apparently they're making,
right now,
they're making masks out of bras right now. So
whatever works.
Yeah, whatever works. Dee, where can people who need your support find you? Where are your resources that they can find you at? And then we will also post, I'm going to post your TED Talk and that you verified, and then your website and those resources. Where can people find you?
I am, like I am hungry, I am DeeWallace.com. It could not get any simpler. And there's a lot of free offerings on my site to encourage you to take responsibility for your own creation. You are the God of you, guys. Nobody can think a thought for you, feel a feeling for you, hold a perspective for you that you don't condone. That makes you the God of you. Be a powerful, positive God through divine love. When you direct energy through divine love, you cannot misuse it. So I am DeeWallace.com. There's actually, we just did incredible webinar on stress. There's a free webinar on the coronavirus. There's a free webinar that Masami Covey, who is a brilliant medical intuitive, and I just did on how you can support yourself through this time. A lot of free offerings. The stress is not free, but if you want it, and you can't afford the $50, please email me and we will make some kind of arrangement. I do insist that everybody participate in some way, whether it's $1, $5, $10, because I know that giving and receiving is a circle. It's not I give and then I receive. It's a circle that creates itself in the totality of itself. So those of us who are giving must receive so that we continue to give and continue to receive. That's just the way it works. But I'll work out, if you are called to the work, I will work out anything with you so that you can get the work.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that, Dee.
You bet.
And just before you go, people watch your movies like crazy. They're incredible fans. I even love your Lifetime Christmas movies. And my husband,
a lot of them on this year too.
Yeah. So tell us, do you have any projects? I mean, everything's kind of on hold right now, and I know that. Yeah. What kind of things do you have coming up for you?
Well, I did 2 movies in January, actually, both horror films. Yes, I know. I spent half of my life doing horror and the other half of my life healing people from horror. It's a great dichotomy, but it works for me. And a really interesting sci-fi kind of supernatural horror thing called Await the Dawn, Fanboy 13 and The Bewailing. All those things are coming out sometime when all this hoopla dies down and we get it together, you know. But very involved in my healing work. I'm just getting ready to, every Christmas, I give a Christmas special, Candace, where I offer a half an hour session for only $100. Mm-hmm. Usually my 50-minute sessions are $300. Oh. And I've just been getting so many emails from my people across the world. Could you roll that out again so we can have another way of supporting ourselves? So I'm going to be rolling that out again for anybody, you know, that follows me. So
that's awesome.
It's a great deal. You can't believe how many core beliefs we get to in a 30-minute period.
Oh, I bet. And the fact that you are who you are, people will honestly, they'll open their heart faster because they know who you are. They know your credibility. And so some of those barriers can be removed instead of the 40 sessions that you might have with a counselor somewhere, which is a whole.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
I hear all the time, oh my God, I've been in therapy for 5-10 years. I never got to that.
Yeah, there's a problem if you're in therapy for long periods of time like that. Not putting people down, but just saying it sounds more like a business, and it does sound like a
Where's
help.
your focus? Where's your focus? Is it on all my shitty stories?
Yeah.
Or is it on, this is what I want to create now?
Yeah, absolutely.
And finding out all about your story helps you see what you don't want so that you can create what you do want.
Absolutely.
But you've got to make that jump over to the positive.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And it is, it's so powerful right now. And I know that the world is shifting and we're learning that there's more power in good and more power in love and more power. And I'm actually seeing amazing things that humans are doing for one another.
It's incredible, isn't it?
I love it.
It's just really, your heart just, yeah. And see, that's authentically who we are. Yes. And the first thing we're taught in Bible school is God is love. So if you're holding yourself in love, you're holding yourself in God.
Ah, it's so beautiful. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. It's such an honor to do this with you, Candace.
And I cannot wait till we come down and have our party together that got canceled.
I know. We're going to do it.
Yeah, we are. I'm so excited. And I love you so much. And I will post everything for everyone. Thank you, my dear friend. I love you to pieces.
I love you too, sweetheart. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye, honey.